Welcome. This is Chapter 5, Introduction to XML, and this is Session 2 on XML in depth. So we are going to see in depth of XML in this particular session, and these are the learning objectives. So to start with, what is DTD and anatomy of DTD? XML namespaces, XML schema definition, and we can also differentiate between HSD and DTD. So about all these things we are going to learn in this particular session. So to start with, what is DTD? As we have seen in our previous slides and video, DTD stands for Document Type Definition. So what does the DTD do? It is used to describe the structure of an XML document. In our previous video, we saw that the XML can be divided into content, structure and presentation. So now we are going to see about the structural part. In order to see about the structural part, we must start along with the DTD. So the DTD is mainly used to describe the structure of your XML document. So what is the use behind that? The use is the structure whatever you are giving provides a syntax. That syntax is used to validate your XML document. As we have seen in our previous video, whatever the XML document may be must be constructed according to the syntax that is provided in the structure. If your XML document is not following your structure, so we get some errors. So we can say that if an XML document is constructed, that is the XML content is constructed according to the XML structure, then it is known as valid XML document. If your XML content, that is XML file, it is not constructed according to the structure, then we can call it as non-valid XML document. And DTD can be used to declare root element. If we want to create a DTD, a document type definition structure, the first and foremost requirement is we need a root element. We'll be seeing in depth of root element in our upcoming slides. Next, inside the root element there must be some child elements, and we can even say how the order of the child elements must come within the root element. Not only the order, we can even say how many number of child elements can be appeared inside a particular root element. So DTD describes about all these things. Next, the types of DTD. DTD can be classified into two different ways, such as internal and external. Internal DTD. What is an internal DTD? When you are declaring your DTD structure within the XML document, it is known as internal DTD. So the procedure of declaring a DTD inside the XML document, it is known as internal DTD. So the DTD rules, the rules which your XML content must govern, whether it is internal or external, each and every DTD must start with the doc type declaration, which we'll see in our examples in our upcoming slides. But before that, I'm just telling you that whether you go for an internal DTD or an external DTD, the first and foremost thing you have to specify is the doc type element. Without the doc type element, your DTD structure will not be validated. And the syntax for the internal DTD is just like this. So doc type, so we'll be having a lesser than sign, an exclamation mark. Doc type is a keyword, and notice this doc type must be in capital letters. After that, provide a space and provide a root element. Root element can be anything. Likewise, for example, it may be a student and it can be an employee. So as I said, XML is used to create our own tags. Anyhow, I'll be showing you some examples so that you can gain a better understanding. Inside the root element, you have to declare the element declarations. Element declarations are nothing but the number of child elements that occur inside the root element. So root element, declare the root element that is used in the XML document. Without the root element is considered as the primary element within an XML document. Without a root element, no XML document can be established. And as I said, element declarations are nothing but the child elements inside each root element. And these child elements must be enclosed within the square brackets. Before going into external DTD, we'll just see an example so that we'll gain a better understanding. Fine. Now we'll see about the explanation of code regarding our internal DTD. I've already created some of the programs related to internal and external DTD. So first we'll explore the code behind the internal DTD. I'll just open this in Notepad, expand this. Now you can see, as we have seen in our earlier coding, we didn't include any structure. We included just the content alone in our first video. Now, for the first time, I'm going to include a structure along with the content. So what is the use of that? As I said, the first step, if you want to tell your browser regarding that this particular document is an XML document, then you have to specify this particular pre-processing directive. So this directive says that, so this is an XML version of 1.0, and this question mark is essential. You can't avoid all these things. And remember, please provide the XML keyword and the version keyword in lowercase letters. If you provide that in uppercase, you may not be able to execute your programs. After that, the first step is that just declare the structure. The highlighted portion is the structure. In the structure, as I said in the slides, each structure, whether it's the DTD internal or external, it must start with a doc type declaration, and see to that the doc type keyword is also in capital letters. The next one, this space, I gave a college. You can notice our syntax is doc type space root element. So here college is a root element. After that, just open your square brackets. Inside the square brackets, I have said that you have to give your element declarations. Element declarations in the sense I have said it is nothing but the child elements. Now you can notice that in my this particular highlighted section is my actual XML document, the content part. In this content part, college is a root element. Inside this college root element, I have one particular child element, that is student. I have only one child element, that is known as student. So in order to tell that, I am declaring a structure here. So there is an element. I have already said in my previous video, if you want to create an element in XML, you have to use the keyword element. After that, space, college is my root element. Inside that root element, I have how many child elements? There is only one child element, that is student. So give your child elements within the parentheses. After that, inside the student child element, how many other sub-child elements are there? There are 4 child elements. First one is roll number, second one is name, third one is age, and fourth one is course. As you can see in our XML content also, inside college there is only one child element, that is student. Inside student child element there are 4 other child elements known as roll number, name, age, and course. Inside each child element I gave here known as PC data. This particular PC data is nothing but attribute type. About this PC data attribute type will be learning in our upcoming slides. So after each declaration, use PC data. Then just close your doc type section with the same square brackets, and this greater than sign will go for this lesser than sign. So I'm enclosing my whole structure within my XML document. Now if I run this in my browser, you can notice a difference. I'll just run this in my browser. When I run this on the browser, it shows me the output. I just enable this. It shows me the output. Now you can notice that, as I said in my previous video, if you want to check whether your document is valid, if your document obeys the rules that is mentioned in the structure part, then it must say validation successful. Consider if I make some errors in my coding. Now please notice one point very clearly. After roll number comes, I need to specify my name. So I specified just like that. After roll number, I specified my name. So you can notice that there is no error. So I am following the rules. Consider I am giving against the rules. I am just giving the age. I am just cutting this age and giving after the roll number. Now you can notice one difference. After roll number, according to my structure, after roll number, name must come. But I am providing age. Now it says that there is an error. So let's check that. I am saving this. Again opening it in my browser. Again clicking this validate XML. Now it says that it is expecting a name, but you have given age. So from this it shows a parse error. So there is a parser inbuilt inside your browser that detects your errors made in XML. So please be very careful. This is what I said. Whenever you want to construct your XML document, please follow the rules. Without following the rules, the XML document cannot be constructed. So now this code works fine. I hope you understood. Now let's get back to the slides. Now, external DTD. External DTD is nothing but procedure of declaring a DTD outside the XML document. Earlier we saw internal DTD, where we even saw an example where we declared our DTD inside the XML document. But here we are going to declare our DTD outside the XML document. So now an external DTD will be a separate file. So the syntax for declaring an external DTD is as follows. So similarly, as I said, the doc type declaration comes. After that, the root element will come. Here we have including two separate things, that is access specification and external DTD file name. What is access specification? Access specification is nothing but how to allow the user in order to access my DTD file. I can restrict the user within the system, or it can be made public so that everyone can access. So this access specification can be done in two different ways. The first way is system. System is nothing but when a DTD file is private to the system for a single user. So if I create a DTD file in my system, I can say that my external DTD has an access specification of system. It cannot be shared with other people. It works only in my system. Consider when I want to make my external DTD available for all, so I can go with the access specification name public. So system is only for private accessibility and public is for the global accessibility. And be aware of that, you have to provide the system and public in capital letters. Afterwards, the external DTD file name is nothing but the file name which you are going to create externally for DTD. So the name for the external DTD file is specified within the double quotes. Within the double quotes, you need to specify your external DTD file name. And this external DTD file name will be saved with the extension of .dtd. So about all these things, we'll see a common example so that you can understand it better. Now, we are going to see a practical demonstration of the external DTD. So, as in our previous example, here also I created an example program which will have an explanation. So I'm just opening this in my notepad. After opening this in my notepad, as you can notice, the first line will never change. So I'm using an XML version 1.0 and the doc type is the document type declaration, and college is my root element, system is my access specification. So here I specified system, which means that my DTD file will be available only in my system. I'm not sharing it to anyone. Then next, within the double quotes, I specified my external DTD file name. So I specified my external DTD file name as coll.dtd, and this extension is essential. Please make sure that your external DTD file is saved with the extension of .dtd. After that, here you can notice that I specified my content part, and college is my root element, student is my child element, and inside the student child element I have many more child elements known as roll number, name, age and course, just like our previous example. But the main difference is, in our earlier example, the document type declaration was inside the XML document. Now it has been created as a separate DTD file. I'll also show the DTD file. Again, open this. As you can notice, DTD file it is not an XML file. So make sure when you save that, save with the extension of .dtd. When you open this in Notepad, you can notice that there is no XML version here. There is no XML version because this is not an XML document. This is a DTD document. So directly you can start typing from your root element. So I'm typing my element. My root element name is college, and inside my college root element I have one child element known as student. The same rules and regulations which we have specified in our previous example, but the only difference is now it has been located in a separate file. Now I'm making a call to that file from inside my XML file. When I make a call, the same manner it executes. Again, we'll try to execute this particular coding. I'll open in my Internet Explorer. I'll just enable this. When I right click this and click validate XML, it shows me validation successful. The reason is my XML document is not against the rules. It's not against the structure, as we have seen in our previous example. So this is how my example works for external DTD. I hope so you have understood this. Now let's get back to the slides. Okay, fine. So since we have understood the working of internal DTD and external DTD, now let's have a quick summary. The summary is that the internal DTD, the DTD will be inside the XML document, and in external DTD, the DTD will be considered as a separate file with the extension of .dtd, and we have to declare it according to the syntax. We have to create our XML document according to the structure. If we go against the structure, it is not a valid document. I hope so you have understood that. So now let's take a break. I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.